Hello, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm starting something new. I wanted to give those who support me a chance to see behind the DM screen and feel like they are part of the game that I create for my players. Um, this allows me to give you insight into my thought processes, um, and also maybe allow you all to uh, uh, assist with game creation and uh, adding any suggestions that you think would be fun and whatnot. But yeah, I'm just trying something new and hoping it sticks. Today we're going to be working on creating the city of Jewel, which is uh, a city from between the elemental planes, the core elemental planes. This is a crystalline plane of existence. Um, but yeah, um, some backstory regarding Jewel that I've kind of placed in game as well as have been mulling around in my head. So Jewel is used to reside between the elemental plane of light and elemental plane of Earth. It is a crystalline plane. This is all homebrew. This is all in my head. Um, we are playing in the realm of Faerun. However, I am taking some artistic liberties and, like every good dungeon master, I'm taking what's there and making it their own. Um, Jewel used to be a thriving metropolis of a plane. Um, It's kind of its plane is its name as well as the city. So the plane was called Jewel or the elemental plane of crystal, and the city itself was Jewel. There were several other small settlements, but we're not worried about that today. Um, Jewel is run by a uh, ranked. The city of Jewel is a ranked hierarchical society. Um, as it is a crystalline society, um, the more valuable of a crystal you are or rock you are, the higher you are in society. Um, you may find some close similarities to Steven Universe, which is where I got my inspiration from this. I also took inspiration from Midst, the narrative podcast that Critical Role hosts on their channel. So you'll probably see some elements within the city, but like I said, as every great dungeon master, sometimes the best content has been already made. You just gotta twist it and bend it and make it your own. Um, but yes, so the city of the society of Jewel um, is a tiered society. They don't have a specific currency that they do take the standard planar gold and platinum and all that stuff. But as a denizen of Jewel, um, most people deal in the valuableness, valor, um, or Kynum. I'm thinking of workshopping those two, but basically, valuable. The valor is um, is positive currency, and Kynum is negative currency, debt. Um, and it is constantly changing with value as people go up and or as the citizens and denizens go up in value, down in value, whatnot. So the currency is a lot like the stock exchange. It is ever changing, but usually in a positive manner. It is consistently going up, occasionally going down, but usually after like a cataclysmic event of some or whatnot, in order to quote unquote tank the markets. Um, the city we will be making is going to be set in a 1920s-esque theme. It's going to be very kind of 1920s America, um, where you've kind of got your fun society, you've got finely dressed male characters, you have the the pencil dresses and the floppy dresses and just kind of an overall jubilous society. Not really much of a worry. Um, Proper, very clean. But it's all a facade, as history and the real world showed that it is, in fact, the dark spaces of society are actually where the most fun happens. That's usually a facade, but there's parties all around. Everyone is having the grand old time. But yeah, that's kind of how Jewel, I would like Jewel to be portrayed. Um, it is a thriving society, before and after, when we can get into details of why Jewel is in the Astral Realm here in a little bit. But Jewel is a thriving society. It is open commerce amongst all of the inner and outer planes of existence, as well as there are quite a few number of prime material denizens who know of, but have been either sworn to secrecy or kept it a secret themselves, know of Jewel's existence. Most of it is your plane travelers are very familiar, plus with all the denizens the within the elemental plane itself. It is a thriving metropolis. There is lots to do, so many things to see. It is fully crystalline, but that doesn't really stop anyone from anything, to be quite honest. Jewel is well known, became well known after a very long time as becoming architects, being denizens near the elemental plane of Earth, um, forges a lot of uh, architectural feats across the plains were actually built by the architects of Jewel. Jewel's society is extravagant, is big, is boisterous, um, and their architecture and style of architecture means the same, um, which leads us to why they were thrown into the astral realm. Um, Revealed through my campaign, our party, my characters, my players, discovered that Jewel, the rulers of Jewel, known as the Tripotentiary, a set of three rulers who rule over the realm, were tasked. They created the geodesic concord with the gods, and they were tasked to build a cage for our campaign's BBEG, the mother, um, who had harnessed the powers of a shadow god, long forgotten, and was kind of going on planar a planar conquering. Um, However, before she could get too powerful, at least god tier status, she kind of got to demigod status, but before she could get too powerful, the gods had conscripted Jewel, the Tripotentiary, creating geodesic concord. And in doing so, they were tasked with creating the cage, a binding interplanar transplanar uh, cage, literal cage, to lock the mother away, as she had gotten so powerful that she was unable to be killed. She had become practically immortal. because of the power that had corrupted her, or that she sought out, really, but allowed to corrupt her. Um, and so, with the help of the knowing mistress writing everything down, and Mechanus making sure everything's in line, the geodesic concord was forged, the cage was made, and the mother was locked away. The cage itself was made of pieces of the various elemental planes, um, being master architects and craftsmen of Jewel. They managed to pull off this feat um, extremely well. Um, and were they successfully created the cage. They locked the mother away, binding her into this cage, then locking it away and throwing away the five elemental keys. That should have been forgotten to time. Unfortunately, more fortunately, because this is the root of our campaign, those keys have been found, or at least some of them have been found, and some of them we still need to find. But yeah, however, after the mother had been caged, the gods kind of took a step back and looked at their situation and their predicament and kind of thought to themselves, like, we don't want this to happen again. And we don't want anyone to follow the footsteps of the mother. And uh, she, all knowledge, known knowledge of her was stricken from all records, including the architects. Well, you can't just kill a whole society, a planar society that is thriving. And there was much debate amongst the gods, but ultimately, um, they decided to spare the denizens of Jewel and basically carve out the elemental plane and toss it very deep into the astral realm. So deep that it is nearly, and I mean nearly, impossible to find unless you know where you're going, which is where our players they found a map, they know kind of where they're going, and they're going in a general direction. Astral Realm is kind of funky like that. You kind of think about it and it just kind of appears. So it's in the back of their mind and they know what they're looking for. They just don't know where it is. And that is how Jewel landed itself in the Astral Realm. Um, Going into the culture of Jewel, like I said, we have the tripotentiary, the three denizens, the ruling class. They are diamonds, diamond-like. You have Noir, Citrine, and Sanguine. Um, they are the ruling class. They control all of society, at least the society of Jewel. Um, and the fun thing about this is like I said, I took some inspiration uh, from from Steven Universe. It's one of my favorite shows, um, and I really liked what they did in the society. Now the society itself is different, and again, don't want to step on any toes. Like you said, DMs take something and make it their own. That's the best part of Dungeons and Dragons, in my opinion, is everything is for everyone and anyone can have it and make it their own and play with it. Play with it, break it, mold it, do whatever they want with it. Um, but yeah, the um, the tripotentiary is the ruling class, and they are often they're rarely seen within society, to be quite honest. Um, it is very rare um, that they are actually ever seen. Um, but that doesn't mean that they don't come out to play every now and then. Um, Taking inspiration from uh, from Steven Universe, they have their gem uh, portraits, which is very fun. I spend a lot of time on Pinterest, and that is quite often where I find uh, a lot of my inspiration for for what I'm looking for whether it's character inspiration, NPC creation, cool magic items. Like Pinterest is my rabbit hole of D&D. Like I use it to take what I think in my head and try to get it onto paper as close as I can. Unfortunately, I don't have a full staff of artists under my belt, so this is the next best thing. Um, that being said, though, um, I do enjoy. Uh, I love um, playing through Pinterest and just uh, just envisioning what what works best in my game and just making sure that it's perfect and that it 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 shows what I want, and what I want makes everyone happy. Um, and so yeah, just trying to get a couple things sorted. Um, I did a while ago, almost a year ago. I had some really awesome art commissioned for this. Um, because I knew that it was something that I wanted to do, and I just knew that it needed to happen. Uh, darn, here we go. So this is some of the art that I had commissioned. This is Black Noir, um, Black Diamond Noir. He's kind of the ringleader. He is the head honcho. He Of the three, he is the most powerful individual. While they are equally powerful, he has the most pull. Um, he's been around the longest. He was forged, quite literally forged, um, uh, from basically black obsidian like diamonds that uh, were it was a feat of it was a miracle that he actually was made. He's been around the longest. Since we're making up lore as we speak, but I would say in my mind he's been around since probably shortly after the creation of the elemental plane. He has been there the longest. He knows society. He knows what works and he knows what doesn't. Um, and he actually took a major ego hit when the gods betrayed Jewel in the Tripotentiary. Um, just given that, again, he had weighed all the options, and the realm being yeeted into the astral sea was not one of those things that he had anticipated. That being said, though, you live and you learn. He's maintained his society to near perfection and exactly what it needs to be. So, next we have Sanguine or Red. She is a fire, but she also maintains. the uh, she maintains the kind of magical essence of the realm. She's a magic user, um, and she is the life of the party. She loves to hang out. She loves to have fun. She loves showing off, and they have biannual, tri-monthly, whatever. If there's an excuse to throw a party, have a celebration, she is on it. Um, One thing to mention about Black that I would like to add is that the currency, the Valor and Kynum, Black controls all of that. He's kind of like the postmaster. He controls the currency because he's been around the longest. He knows how it goes. So he's the numbers guy. He controls the currencies, how much valor, what represents a single unit of valor, what represents a single unit of kingdom, and so on. Red, on the other hand, is she's entertainment. She's personality. She makes the city fun. She makes sure that the denizens, whether native or not, enjoy their stay within their city and within the realm. Um, like I said, she's the life of the party. She is a magic user. Black, on the other hand, is a martial. He does know some magic, but he's more fist to fist kind of guy. Red, on the other hand, sanguine. Um, Noir and sanguine, I should be saying. Um, Sanguine, she's the life of the party. She loves to have fun. And then we have Citrine. Citrine is a warrior. She is a no nonsense kind of gal. She loves the art of war. She loves all sorts of battle tactics, battle anything. And she is constantly training, constantly well, she used to constantly go to the different planes and train with them and get new battle tactics to train her soldiers and stuff like that. Um, she is very serious, very stoic. Um, the one thing that my players are going to encounter coming into Jewel here in the Astral Realm is Citrine has lost her mind in the worst way possible. She has gone cuckoo bananas. She has gone crazy. Um, and she is something else. She's a shell of her former self. And that's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out with my characters and how they interact with her. Um, Given that she is so battle starved that she's willing to do practically anything to get that thrill back in the worst way possible. She has lost her mind, and both Sanguine and Noir have tried their best to shield the rest of their society from her, but every now and then she slips through and wreaks havoc. And her being separated from her home plane, as well as being thrown into the astral realm and kind of basically landlocked, landlocked in the astral sea. That's funny. Basically just confined to the city has driven her crazy, and it has been very tough for Sanguine and Noir to deal with. Um, but they make do, they persevere, time moves on as it must. Or not in the astral realm. Who knows? T Time is soup in the astral. But these are our ruling class. These are our ruling members of Jewel. And then from there you have the varying degrees of soldiers, diplomats, stuff like that. Again, taking some liberties, taking some inspiration from Steven Universe. Um, and kind of the what they built there. I probably will throw in a little tidbit, a little reference to some Rose Court soldiers, um, and who knows. I haven't really done much creation yet. It's just, I'm kind of just putting pen to paper at this point, um, but trying to get it out of my head and trying to hammer this out so that it is a fun experience for my players when they finally get here in a session or two. So we gotta get to work. Um, that being said, yeah, this is Jewel itself, as I mentioned earlier, is a 1920s city. You think any major metropolis in the real world at around the 1920s, you've got the glitz, you've got the glamour, you've got the parties, you have the mafia, you have the underworld, you have the slums, you have not quite prohibition, but you got something real close to it. Um, it is, it's a fun society, it's a dangerous society, and it's a loud society. As mentioned, their currency, Kynum and Valor, well, those are physical representations of value and debt. The more valor you have, the higher ranking you are in society. The more money, technical money you have, and vice versa with the Kingdom. The more Kingdom you have, the more debt you have. And usually, people in lower stations in society have a lot more Kingdom than they do valor. And in fact, taking some inspiration from Midst, the audio podcast from Critical Role. Um, they do wear it in whatever form they choose. It has to be visible. I really loved in Midst that they kind of made it into like a beaded necklace or made it into a shawl if you had a lot of it, or some way of showing it off. If you were wealthy in valor, you showed it off in a shawl, or you changed your denomination to something smaller so you could make a scarf or a cowl or braided necklaces of some sort. And same thing with the valor. You have most people weren't proud of their kingdom. Most people weren't proud of their kingdom, so they would keep to the large denominations so that they could show one bead. Had to be visible, but one piece of kingdom is enough. And in a society where this is where you're based on it's based on how you're made, as these creatures or the denizens of Jewel are made. Everyone has a purpose, everyone has a job. It's kind of getting rid of free will to an extent. Like if you are created in a larger you're created a different stone that's more valuable, you will it's kind of like being born into a wealthy family. If you're less shiny, not as valuable of a stone that you were created to be like a garbage truck guy or something like that. Well, then yeah, you'll be a little tarnished. However, in the society, you aren't stuck to the class that you stay in. Um, Much like gems in real life, they can get polished, they can get cut, get facets, become more valuable based on certain things that they do within society. But obviously, and as we're not just talking about plain old rocks here, everything comes at a cost. So the more value you have, the more valuable you can become in the society, and vice versa. It's very hard for someone who's very valuable to fall in the station. You kind of can only go up. Much like Mechanus and Primus and all of the denizens of the elemental plane of law, Mechanus, where Modrons and are created, and they are created constantly. As one dies, a new one is made, and they just and as something from a higher level passes away, dies, whatever, then one gets upgraded, and so on, and the cycle continues, and all the way up to Primus, where once Primus is gone, his Secundus ascends to the next Primus, and the cycle continues. So it's something similar to that. I really kind of like that in the society where you can only improve on yourselves, and a lot of these denizens live for hundreds of years. So it is, and they're rock people, so they can live for hundreds of years. They're probably thousands if we're really thinking about it. Um, but yeah, that is kind of the starting point that I have with Jewel. Um, and what I'm trying to achieve with this video today is to hopefully either start making some maps, or I think we're gonna I think our next step today will be we're gonna take a deep dive down into Pinterest and and really show you the process. Excuse me. Show you the process of what I do to create NPCs and get inspiration. Um, I think what I'd also like to achieve is look into show you the process that I use for making my sound effects. A lot um, in my I have a home board. Excuse me. I have a music board for my home game. It is a C-Deck Enterpad P120. It is a programmable button board, and it is amazing. I love it. I use it all the time. Super easy to use, super user friendly. And I like to play music in the background. So I try to make my games as immersive as possible. I used to do sound effects, but with everything going on, I just stuck to went back to playing music, thematic music. And that seems to work best with my players anyway. So, um, but yeah, we'll let's why don't we go ahead and get started with a nice deep dive down into Pinterest. All right, so I've got Pinterest pulled up, and as you can see, I've got all sorts of fun stuff going. I've got my various tabs that I have for the geodesic Concord. I'm working. I have a Star Wars 5e thing going on. If you've been paying attention in my Thursday games that I'm part of, we are getting close to wrapping up with uh, with that game. We'll probably be wrapped up around the summertime or so. Who knows? We're getting close. But our DM has, as a group, we've collectively decided on playing D&D Star Wars. It's going to be a dark campaign, a Sith campaign. But yeah, I'm excited for that one, and I'm sure you all will be as well. But for now, what we're going to do, and actually, I think I already have the geodesic. Why don't we look here first? This was some inspiration that I took and was using for uh, creating my characters. Um, and in fact, I'm sure you'll see black, yellow, or black, orange, and red on here. Um, as this is where I found them. This is where I found the characters. Then I hired an artist to kind of make them my own and whatnot. Yeah, you'll probably see some renditions. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at to start with D&D Crystal. I can spell Cryst Crystal. people. We'll start there. And this is just giving you insight into my creative processes. I start off with a general search, and as I'm looking, I find the things that I'm looking for. I just kind of just follow the rabbit hole through there. I'm like, that's really cool. But yeah, this is what I do. I do general searches. I do deep dives. Ooh, this is like a good. This would be a really good Rose Quartz soldier, maybe a Rose Quartz captain or garrison leader. So we'll go ahead and we're gonna save this to Jewel. We're gonna go Jewel. And we're just gonna go ahead and create a new board. Um, and like I can deep dive, follow this into here, do a reverse image search on here. Like I said, we're creating a slight vision board of just inspiration of what I want to do, how I want to proceed with the setting. Here's another great one that we could probably throw in there. Um, and yeah, like and it doesn't have to be. I equate this to writing a first draft for anything. Um, what you do is you just kind of you just word vomit. You get the general consensus of what you're trying to achieve, and then you refine it and you refine it and you refine it until or you just add like this process is a lot of adding and not maybe redoing some refining, but there's a lot of refining. There's a lot less refining and a lot more adding, especially as I'm world building. When I'm creating NPCs, usually I do a lot more refining. I kind of find a general and I refine the search and I refine the search until I get basically what I'm looking for. And maybe in another video, if that's something that is sought after, we can make some NPCs and kind of go down that rabbit hole of what I use and how I create backstories. Because I like to have I start with a race. I start with a racing class, and sometimes and that most times that changes. Um, depending on what, but usually, like I recently just created an NPC, just in general, just to have a Warforged named Faith, F41TH. Designation F41TH, aka Faith, and he is a they, it, whatever pronouns work best, but um, he's a death cleric. He's a harbinger of death cleric, to be absolutely specific. Um, and what I did is I just looked up Warforged, I looked up death clerics, I looked up all sorts of stuff and I looked up death cleric Warforged, and I finally settled on something that I really liked. I haven't quite thought of a backstory, so maybe that can be something we can do together. Where I am asking for suggestions for his backstory, and we are just kind of working together because I'll probably add him to my new. Oh, that's super fun. I'll probably add him to the new campaign that we're going to be playing, probably later in February, just given the most reasonable timeline, probably late January, mid to late February, most likely. But that's the Adventures League, Everyone Adventures League, Oracle of War that I am putting on for my partner and his coworkers. Um, and a couple of my coworkers as well. And it's super fun. I have been looking forward to running an Eberron game forever since I uh, learned about Eberron. I want to say at least 2, 3 years ago, probably more than that. I love the Eberron setting. It is my absolute favorite setting of all time, just because there's just so much potential. Keith Baker did an absolute phenomenal job um, creating the setting, and like I said, it is just my all-time favorite. You can't go wrong with Eberron. You've got dinosaurs, you've got magic punk, you've got uh, literal Dungeons and Dragons, the traditional Dungeons and Dragons. You have mystery. You have dream demons. You can be practically Spider-Man and Venom. You can do all sorts of stuff. And the piece de resistance, they've got trains, and it is just fantastic. And like you just can't go wrong. Oh, I do like this. This could be like a forge or something for new gems. Yeah, Eberron is my favorite. And I know this this wasn't meant to be a Eberron talk about. Maybe I can fanboy over some stuff later, but I like this one. This one's really it looks like a this guy kind of looks like a soldier. Could be some sort of just rough and tumble. Like this, this would be a great example of a denizen who is earning valor and is sculpting and getting itself faceted to become valuable, to raise its station in society. This would be there. Obviously, you've got the basic cuts down the legs and the arms, and it's not like it's like a cut gem. It's a raw stone that's being cut and needs some work, but you can see that there's so much potential. And this would probably be like a chromium creature or something like that, some sort of shiny metallic creature, um, uh, or creature person. Um, I really like that. And this kind of reinforces that like unfinished. There's no such thing as being truly perfect. At least not as perfect as the Tripotentiary. I do like a lot of this character art, unfortunately. Like all Pinterest and kind of figuring things out, it's kind of hard to find certain things. I will say that a lot of the stuff, like yeah, to be specific enough, specifically vague, if that's a thing with Pinterest, because there is a lot that you can just rabbit hole down. And if you're not careful, you're gonna go off on you can go off on tangents. You get lost in the sauce. And so, like I said, you have to be specifically vague is a great way to put it because again, you're looking for specifics. You're looking for like in this, we're looking for crystal people. We're looking for cool crystal characters. and crystal golems and stuff like that that could be fun to showcase in in our game. Um, and it's really it's like I said, this is I can absolutely spend I can spend hours and hours and hours just scrolling Pinterest and going down these rabbit holes, and I do quite often do that. I like to just dive, take the leap of faith and see where it takes me and what new NPCs I come up with at the end of it, or cool new um I think we already saved her, but we'll just add it just in case. Um, cool new items that I like. A lot of the keys to the mother's cage. I got inspiration from here. I got the inspiration uh from Pinterest and just the cool some really cool items that I got from that I found on Instagram or not Instagram on Pinterest. And yeah, you're just like I said, you're just kind of going with the flow. Let's go ahead and maybe we've got lots of characters. Let's see if we can find some D&D. Let's go. Let's actually get rid of Crystal City. Let's go or D&D. Let's go see. All right, Crystal City. Oh, this is really awesome. I really like this is cool. I'll go ahead and let's go ahead and save this to Jewel because that's kind of what I'm looking for. Something similar to that. Um, oh, this is another great one too. Oh, we need a train. Society can't survive without trains. And you know what? I stand by that statement 100%. I love trains, and there will be a train. So it's canon now. Oh, it is just so fun. I love exploring and like a lot of this and oh, there's just so many talented people out there. It just amazes me how much art there is, and I'm sure that some AI stuff is mixed in there, but oh, it is breathtaking, and I'm so glad that people share their art and share their creativity because in the long run it helps everyone else and it helps me, it helps other dungeon masters, it helps everyone and it is just so darn cool. And that's yeah, I just like there's some just beautiful things here. Oh, don't mind if I do. We got another choo-choo train. You got the West Line and the East Line. Oh, that'd be a fun palace. See, now the problem that I am trying that we're going to face and we're going to encounter is in my mind, Jewel is bright but dark. Like it's set in the astral sea. It's not going to be sunshine and rainbows. It's not going to have the standard kind of ethereal light to it. It's going to be slightly dull just because of where it's at. Now, if it was still back in its original planar location, it would have an internal radiance. It would have kind of like a um just like how just rocks just naturally glow and just natural light and versus sunlight versus kind of a dim room. Something similar, like something like that, where it's yeah, something like this. This would be Noir's castle. That would be really cool. Like just something. Maybe this one's a little too dark, a little too ominous, but something like this. Like we really want to go for displaced and kind of not quite sad, but the displaced city. You want it's dark. It's well, I wouldn't say dark because that's not what I'm trying to go for. I'm trying maybe less luminous. That's a great way to describe it. It is a less luminous city. Um, and I'm sure we passed something up here. Let's go fantasy art. Let's go there. Yeah, because I really like this. This I'm really drawn to this. I might incorporate this one into my game, um, just of how beautiful it is. I really love the contrasting complement of colors. I could probably edit the picture just a little bit and make the sky a little darker, make the colors a little bit more vibrant, um, and so on and so forth. I'm just kind of following down this line of thinking. Like, this is another good one. Not quite. Not all of them are good. I take back. Not all of them are good for what I'm looking for. That's fantastic artwork, like I keep saying. It's beautiful. It's magnificent. Yeah, something like this. This is also really cool. Let's go ahead and add this. I wish I could zoom in a little bit. Oh, you know what? This is this is perfect. This is exactly what I'm looking for. You see, let me let's do this. Let's just take a gander at this photo real quick. There we go. Okay. I just want to look at this because this is kind of what I'm looking for. Like a carved out chunk of a major metropolis city. You really see that here, and it still could be thriving and stuff like that. It just looks like it got ripped out of the ground and tossed. This is really cool. And I really like the luminescence down low. Yeah, this is really what I'm looking for. This could be the Tripotentiary Castle. Something like that. Yeah, this is really, really close to what I'm looking for. Oops, I don't know where that went. Well, yeah, that's kind of what I'm the the design that I kind of would like to have shown or kind of something similar. Oh, here's a great one. Oh, I think I already saved this one. That's so funny. Yeah, something modern, but like I like the sleek look. And this is and for all intents and purposes, like this is a modern society. This is significantly more modern than the material plane and other realms. This is a society that has been alone and able to upgrade and integrate itself and build upon itself for centuries now. It is quite unknown exactly how long ago, just because the records have been stricken. Like some say it was 40 years. Well, 40 years for some creatures, is not 40 years for others. And as my as the players and the characters keep discovering new things and better things, um, and more information regarding the mother, like it is becoming like this happened long ago, but long enough to where it was able to be forgotten. Um, while the scars may still be there, they aren't fresh, kind of thing. Um, one of my characters, or the characters in my game, her name is Josine. She is a Crick elf druid, um, and her sect of elves, um, and lineage of elves, they are able to live for like 10,000 years. So for them, the time is relative. Whereas we have a couple humans. So they're past like the Mima, the current Mima, she's up there in age. She's a couple thousand years old. She I would say she's about 7 to 8 thousand years old. She's getting up there. But she doesn't remember because all of this information regarding the mother was struck from all memory, all written down, and was hidden away in the uh, it was hidden away in the uh, deepest reaches of the knowing mistress's library. And unfortunately, because the mother herself, cannot be fully erased, the information couldn't be either. It can be struck from all records, it can be wiped from memories of mortals, but there had to be a contingency. And thank God there was, because otherwise I wouldn't have a game. And thank God for me because I created the game. But yeah, there's so many working parts in this game, and it's watching my players unravel it all is so fun because this has been years in the making. Like I have been working in building this D&D campaign for I want to say like 2 years before I actually started running it, and and then have been just building and building in my head. And I think this is the most I've ever put onto paper at once. Like I do session prep and do what I can, but at the same time, like it's kind of hard sometimes, but also it's hard to put into onto paper when you can't quite articulate the what you're trying to achieve. Um, and which is once again one more reason to praise Pinterest because I absolutely this is an outlet for me. It's a great way for me to actually put my thoughts down and get things in a way that I can articulate them accurately to my players while making it as immersive as possible because in my mind I have a certain way of doing it. My players have a certain way that they see things that I describe to them, and being able to give them a visual representation of the things that are playing out in my head and I'm envisioning in my head is important to me. Um, just because I want them to have as much fun as I am having, and I'm running the game, so I know I'm having a good time. So it's important to me that they are fully immersed. Well, not fully, but they are immersed enough to where they are invested. And I mean, we've been playing this for 8 years, and so I would like to assume that they're invested, but at the same time, you never know. So let's go ahead and we're gonna go. Let's do one more look. Crystal People. Let's see if we can find some cool cats. That's kind of cool. We don't want to put them in Toma. We want to put them in oh Jewel. There we go. That's a fun tiefling concept. Let's see here. And as much as I hate using it, and to each their own on how on your own opinions on AI and stuff like that. I do appreciate the things that it can do. Um, while it may be slightly unethical or very unethical to some, it's a tool, just like any other. Just like what I'm doing here is I'm taking images and using them for inspiration and creating something of my own. That's what they do. And so it is. Oh, we need to throw. Cold never bothered me anyway. Throw in a little bit of Elsa in there. Um, I just creating a database and creating something new out of it. And I try to strive away from using AI generated things. I like to go straight to artists and whether that's commissioned or here on Pinterest. But on occasion and in a pinch because it just hasn't been created yet. And you got to do what you got to do sometimes. And if I'm not endorsing AI art or anything like that because in a way it is. I can see where people will consider it as stealing and as theft and as plagiarism. But on another side, it's a tool. It's a tool for creativity. And I don't think people who are using AI to uh like showcase certain things and use them in major motion pictures. I think small people who use it for filling in the gaps of what we can't do or don't have the resources to achieve. I think it's a good place for that. I don't think like in movies and stuff like that. I don't think AI belongs there because it really doesn't. It's a shortcut. It's it's you're if you're making movies and you're making all of these things, then it is showcase the actual artists and their work as opposed to just taking the quick way and the cheap way of just throwing in a couple prompts into AI generator and calling it a day. Because that's ultimately that just in the long run that doesn't hurt anyone but themselves, the person who's doing it, because they're showing out this masterpiece, and instead of actually showing people um, real curated art in one form or another, they're like I said, taking the easy route and avoiding all of that. So, and to each their own, those are kind of just my surface thoughts, their surface opinions of of AI work. And like I said, I try not to use it too much in my games just because it's real artists spend a lot of work and I would love to like I love showcasing some of their stuff too and what I find Because you never know, you might find a new uh you might find a new artist or whatever while you're searching that like, hey, this is perfect. And hey, you never know. They might have commissions open or they might have more artwork that maybe isn't you aren't looking for right now, but is inspiration for something later down the line. Like that's that's what is ideal. And that's what I use Pinterest for too. Like, sorry, let's go look at fantasy people. Yeah, because it's a fun time. Let's see. There really isn't much. I would love, and this is kind of going into my little rant about AI, but this is kind of where I would begin inputting. So let's go fancy. I wish I could spell. Fancy crystal people. Because now we're kind of getting into the vague, specifically vague, is a terrible choice of words, but what's the words I'm using, where I'm now trying to refine my searches to get images and populate images that I'm looking for. So what I'm looking for, like I said, like I mentioned, Jewel is a 1920s-esque society. So we're looking for some kind of well-tailored individuals. Um, let's actually look at this. Let's go. I can really could spell because what I'm looking for is like the finely dressed individuals, the nobles, the uh, like this individual here, like something that looks dressed nice, and maybe I'm not gonna be able to find something specifically like that, but I can at least kind of get something close. But I don't think I'll be able to find anything. You know what? We're just gonna let's go AU uh oh my goodness. I wish I could spell today. See, now we're kind of getting into now we're really getting in that inspiration. So like here we've got all of those Steven Universe characters, and this looks to be an alt AU stuff, which is what I were kind of looking for. But this is kind of what I'm looking at. I'm looking for the fancy dressed people. The I'm looking for the nobles. I'm looking for things that I can add to the game to make it more realistic in a society like this. Like, doesn't this just look like some sort of singer? Like, she's an opera singer. She is under the employ of Sanguine. She's an opera singer, life of the party. Um, she's a star. Um, something like that. Like I'm not looking too closely for specifics like, oh, I need to have this, and this. Just a general understanding of the not hierarchy, but I myself am I like the finer things in life, so I like to have some well-dressed noble persons. Ooh, this one's kind of cool. Let's look at her. Jade Court. I really like that. And maybe I have something similar. Let's go ahead and just add a couple of these over. These are just super cool. Um, where I um I totally lost my train of thought there. Um, I got distracted by this really cool crystal gem character. But yeah, like I want a thriving society where it shows these different gemmed individuals who are also within. I see. I really love this. Let's look at this individual. Let's go back. What is this under? Can't see. Uh, I would love to just search. Let's look here. Oh, Steven Universe, maybe. Yeah, because I really all right, let's go back here. We'll do an image search. Oh, this is just beautiful. I really like this. DeviantArt, Hebonite. Yeah, like this is, and this might be something that I can get input from regarding the classes of Jewel. Like obviously I have the ruling class of the Tripotentiary, but maybe it's kind of like a Fey court where you have the various courts of society that represent different things and the lower courts, and everyone has their own station and whatnot. Everyone reports to someone. Um, Funny about this almost was noir. I almost had a character designed like this for noir, but I ended up going with a more masculine character. Um, I just liked his look better. But that was in the running for, yeah. This was going to be in the running for noir, but I chose to um, change it a little bit. I wanted a male, more masculine character for noir. Um, yeah, like this is, and like I said, oh, this is perfect. Something like this, like regular old guy, regular guy. It's a random NPC you can see walking around town. Nothing too crazy. Throw this one in. Yeah, and I'm not really looking for any murals or anything either. I do like is that a lot of this is mostly just for inspiration. This isn't even this isn't even set in stone things. Like I may come back to this later and completely just scrap everything and start fresh. It's because it's forming it's not forming the what the it's not forming the the vision that I had for it. But like I said, we're just kind of just doing data collection at this point. We're just building our outline, building our rough draft, and then snip and cut and add and change as we refine things. And I think next session I might work on building a city map and trying my hand at hopefully maybe potentially making something that resembles what I'm looking for in in the city. And again, that can be more input uh uh from my support, from those of you who support me, more input to how the city gets shaped, like quite literally how the city gets designed. Whether we want a kind of a centric circle, a whatever, or kind of the different districts that we have within the city, something of the sort. Um, but yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at what we've got, and we can just kind of take a look at, see. And my favorite thing about Pinterest is it recommends things for the board. So once you have enough things, so to speak, the within your pinned board, it recommends things, and that is again why I love Pinterest so much, because it is perfect for just exploration. I think we added a lot of AU crystal gems, which is nothing wrong with that. Would like to see what they recommend for like additional crystal characters and stuff. But yeah, yes. If you have any suggestions or ideas that you would like to share, please don't hesitate to share them with me. I am all ears. As being a paid member, a paid supporter, I truly appreciate your patronage. And the DM or the membership is uh in the title. You are the DM's little helper. You are the DM's helper. You help me. I pull back the curtain a little bit, and we make this a fun game for everyone involved, whether you're listening, whether you're a player and whatnot. It This is supposed to be a fun experience for everything and for everyone involved. Um, and so with that in mind, I will go ahead and end it here today. I think we did a lot. Doesn't feel like it, but shared some lore. We got started for this new vision board, and we are in a great spot. I want to thank you for your support, and I hope to have your continued support going forward. Um, Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for coming along with me on this fun ride that I call D&D. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.